Welcome to the baseballswing.com. Joe Colucci here with you. We're looking at Ian Jenkins. About, I don't know, 6 months or so ago, my son referred me on to Ian Jenkins. He's a guy who has a YouTube and Instagram presence. He teaches baseball. He's a professional instructor. Look through his stuff, really like what he has to say. He's got a unique perspective on some things, but by no means off the rails. This guy's solid. He knows exactly what he's talking about. So, figured we'd take a look at his swing today, break it down for you guys. In case you're wondering, why would I put a competitor on here? I don't really care. He's got a swing, he's got a thought, he's got a philosophy, and, basically I'm just going to call it like I see it. And I've already told you I love his channel. It's very informative. I can remember, I'm going to link to some of his social stuff, including his YouTube channel, in the description. So look for that. Go check it out. Hopefully he can help you. All right. So I don't know when he took this swing or where he is at in his swing evolution. And just an FYI, he's got a great kind of tagline now. I'm struggling to remember it exactly, but it's something to the effect that I failed so you don't have to. It kind of caught me. You can just tell, like, it's sincere, and in failure we can learn a lot. He obviously, I don't know where he played or at what level. I'm sure it was fairly high. He's got a great swing. So anyway, let's break it down. So he's kind of wide in the stance here. He's got his elbow up a little bit, sways back onto his right side. Not a lot of turn, just kind of sways back, gets into that right leg, maybe a little bit in the hip as well, and then reaches out and toe touches. So at this point, notice his head's kind of over his belt buckle. The unique part is he does have his leg way out in front of him there. But as you can see, as we move forward, he goes into heel plant, says, all right, I'm going to go. Bang, he's moving forward, right? So what we end up with, now I'm a little kind of caught here with not a lot of frames, but at impact, very traditional. Piping on his pants is straight up and down, head kind of over his right knee, kind of some traditional stuff, but very solid. Now, athletically, if you feel like, hey, I want to just kind of sway back, not turn a lot, pull that foot out there, plant the heel in the ground when you say go, and you move forward into the ball a little bit, great. I'm a big proponent of moving forward into the ball. I believe it creates power. It's more athletic. It's probably more natural if our brains weren't so filled with nonsense, quite frankly. So anyway, we're approaching impact. We've got the head over the knee. That's great. Like I said, he made a good, bold move forward. And one of the things I like to see is once you get into that forward position, to never give, never go backwards. So what we're seeing here with Ian is he is now behind that line. So I want to caution you guys, when you're breaking down video, or you've got your mom or your dad or your girlfriend taking videos, make sure they're not moving, because Ian Jenkins is pounding it with a lot of energy towards the middle of the field. But if you're just going to draw a line and you say, well, he was kind of here at impact on the line, and now he's behind it. Well, again, let's kind of take it back to the beginning of the swing. And what I'm going to share with you here is the camera's moving. It's panning with him. So the lines kind of go out the door. So I drew that little box outside of his foot, more or less on the back line of the batter's box. And I did this, and I wanted to see, like, that's really moving forward a good amount. So whoever shot the video was panning. They're anxious to see where it went or whatever the case may be. So be very careful before you go too crazy diagnosing swings and drawing lines and trying to figure out what you're doing. Make sure that camera's either on a tripod or it's really very steady. So I'm going to get rid of that, bring that line back up. I'm going to also kind of clue you in as, even if it were moving, how you can tell that he is, transferring a tremendous amount of weight forward. So as we pointed out earlier, this line where his head's right over his knee coming into impact, the piping on his pants are, straight up and down, right? So if I get rid of this line, and all of a sudden his right hip, his right thigh, all these things start going on to a different angle. Look at the piping now. That represents to me energy transferring forward. Not necessarily a sway or getting out over his front foot, but his intent, I can almost guarantee you, is to just pound this thing over the center field fence. And, like in this instance, if he's a little bit early, maybe he pulls it a little. If he's a little bit late, he slotted the bat, beautifully, and he can pound it to right field. But again, pitcher straight in front of you, center field straight in front of you. As best you can, pitches up, down, middle, doesn't matter. You want to be transferring energy towards that direction. And that will cover you if you're a tad late, and that will cover you if you're a tad early. All right? So, and again, the piping on his pants tells me that he's still transferring energy forward. One other great thing, and I always point this out, I know, but this is the straightest right arm in baseball in terms of lining up with the bat. We just did a video on Corbin Carroll, and you saw him in a similar position. It's a sign that you were very efficient through the ball and you weren't really using your hands to manipulate anything. When you're really fooled, when it's 2 strikes and you got to manipulate to get the barrel on it, knock yourself out. I don't expect every swing to look perfect, and nor should you. But this ball is kind of piped. Like I said, I think he's a little early, but he puts what I think is an A swing on it. So good for him. Now, how does he get this bat slotted? I want to take you back a couple of frames. And again, when people start talking about or use the term box, create your box, stay in your box, that's fine, right? You can still slot the bat, but you got to do it a little differently. Like a Ted Williams is more free flowing, and did a video on him as well. You can check out and how he kind of slots it with a kind of a scap load and bat tip, and bat wants to go back and slot. To be very efficient to the ball and powerful, this boxed method, when done right, which Ian Jenkins does here perfectly, is a great tool. And as I take you down through the next few frames, I want you to notice basically his right palm is pointing at his shoulder. So if there was a stick there or some sort of piece of PVC, that would be great. But in your mind, if you can keep that right hand pointing at your shoulder for a good duration, this is long enough. Yet he continues it here. All right, and then we go through impact and the arms extend, and obviously you're not going to have that look anymore. You shouldn't want to have that look past here, right? If you can get it to here, that's great. From this position now, you're just competing, right? You're going to take your hands and arms to the ball. You're going to let that rear elbow unfold as needed, and this is by getting in this previous position, because he's got that 90-degree bend, because his right elbow is kind of close to his right side, he has that adjustability at this point. He can be a little early and just extend his arms. If his arms were already extended, he wouldn't have that adjustability. So by being quote-unquote boxed on his move down, he maintains all that adjustability. He's very straight to the ball, yet he gets it on plane. And he's big and strong. I saw something on his channel. He's trying to swing or hit a ball with an exit velo of 130. I'm going to tell you, I think he might be able to do it. It's nuts. This kid's put together very good, and his mechanics equally are really helping him along the way. So without any PVC pipes or sticks or buying anything, if you kind of say, all right, get into your launch position, heel plant, whatever you want to call it. And even prior to that, I would suggest doing this, although he doesn't really do it here, right from your load. Get that right palm pointing towards your shoulder and don't deviate. So about here is really where he gets his right palm pointing at his shoulder. Then I start drawing the line, and he's just going to keep it there. There's not a lot that can go wrong when you're doing that. All right? So a ton to learn from this guy just by looking at his swing. I hope what I've shared with you today helps you. But for sure, go over and check his work out. He is, from what I can tell, really, really a sharp mind speaks the truth as best I can tell. So, all right, guys, Joe Colucci with the BaseballSwing.com signing off. Please remember, like and subscribe, share it. Get this Ian Jenkins guy a little bit of a bump. If you can, he's worth it. Seems like a nice young man as well, which is great. All right, till next time, guys. Have a great one.